Welcome back. Live this Saturday night. Another UFC fight night. Corey Sandhagen versus Davison Figueiredo. Bantamweight title implications on the line.
I'm Big T.
I'm Jake Langer. This is Deepwater Picks. Let's dive in. All right, let's start off. Break down last fight night. I think my picks went 10-4 with 5 correct predictions. What'd you do?
As you'll see, as on the leaderboard snippet that I so humbly posted, I clearly ran away with it with 51 points. It's really never been done before. I was 10 for 12 on my picks, and the ones that I missed were obviously Dana fixes. So, pretty much 100% pick rate there. And I had multiple picks that actually were 100% perfect, telling by the 51, all-time great score there. So I'm on a roll. I'm ready to get into this pretty much heater of a fight card. So
I just want to be completely transparent. A lot of other YouTube channels and pick'ems, they're never going to give you this transparency. I went 10-4. Not great. We're going to do better this card. But a lot of people just delete their videos or just never acknowledge it again.
it's true.
Yeah, it's true. But we're not going to do that. And you can tail all our picks, and you can check all our picks for every card at ufcpick'em.com, www.ufcpick'em.com. Get on that website, and then, I don't know, maybe we'll do a giveaway or something. If you beat us consistently 3 times in a row, we're going to do a big giveaway. What we're going to give away? Game-worn nightie worn by Anthony Smith when he went the distance.
Yeah.
When he went the distance for the home intruder.
All right, we're gonna need some donations to get that.
We already have it.
All right, we already have it.
I broke into his home, actually won a decision, and he gave me the nightie. We respect each other so much. We exchanged jerseys.
Yeah, that was what a night. I'm sure that was.
I don't know if you know this. He saw me in the crowd after the fight.
That's who
that
he
was
was.
me.
That makes sense. Yeah.
All right, let's dive into these fight night picks. All right, kicking off fight night card, we got a women's flyweight fight. Juliana Miller versus Ivana Petrovic.
Let Big T break it down for you.
Break it
down. I look at this fight. Juliana Miller, she's got heart, but if you look at her record, she's 4-3. Like, let's be real, she's got no real skills. Could she beat me up? I'm not sure. Ivana Petrovic, she is a prospect in the women's division, so take that with a grain of salt. She looks like that she can strike. She looks like she has decent skills generally, but has not proven it. So, in my opinion, you got to go with someone who shows they might have skills over someone who has proven that they don't. So, it's going to be Ivana Petrovic via decision, because almost every chick fight, with the exception of last weekend, they always go to decision. So, I'm going to absolute slam Petrovic by decision.
I'm going to go ahead and tail that. Ivana Petrovic by decision for the same reasons. Next fight in the heavyweight division, Thomas Peterson versus Dontale. For those who don't know, Thomas Peterson is a former collegiate wrestler at the University of Minnesota, Golden Gopher alumni. So he's got decent wrestling, because anytime you're wrestling in the Big Ten, that's cream of the crop there. He's got good wrestling. He's got pretty good striking. Dontale, not very good takedown defense. Striking is all right. It's kind of below average. They both got beat by Shamil, the sexiest guy in the UFC.
It's true.
So we can't even hold that against them. But besides that, I don't know. I just see the wrestling for Thomas Peterson being too much for Dontale to handle. Both these guys go to a lot of decisions.
Yeah.
I think everyone has KO power, but they don't have that real UFC heavyweight KO power. I'm going to take Thomas Peterson by sub, and I think he gets it done in round 1.
Dude, great breakdown, Jake. I love that. I'll tell you, I'll just piggyback off of what you said. Might switch up a little bit, but let Big T break it down for you. I look at Peterson and I say, all right, what does he do well? He's a good wrestler, obviously. The Golden Gopher, as some would call him. He's, they're known for wrestling out there. It gets real cold, so they got to keep warm, so they, wrestle dudes. And then I will say
the Dagestani approach.
Yeah,
It's cool.
It gets real cold, so you start wrestling with hairy dudes. So he's really good at that, and that is a recipe for a decision. I look at his striking, and I say, in general, it's pretty bad, and he likes to lead with his face. And in the heavyweight division, that doesn't bode well, like what happened against Shamil, which he does that to everyone. Anyways, we look at Dontale, and I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that it's similar to the previous fight in which one guy shows that, or girl shows they have some skills. The other shows that they have absolutely none. And that is Dontale Mayes. He doesn't seem like he even wants to be there. I bet on him in my last fight, and that was before I really locked in and hit 100% of my fights against Walter Walker. And let me tell you, I've never been more disappointed. I mean, it was pitiful.
Sub round 1.
His only win condition, sub round 1, and it wasn't even competitive. And I would say Dontale Mayes' only win condition is KO, and I will never bet that. So it's Peterson by decision, in my opinion. Could potentially see a sub because Dontale Mayes is lazy and doesn't care about being in the UFC, in my opinion, unless he proves me wrong. So that's the slam.
Next fight, Bantamweight division. We got Gaston Bolanos versus Quang Lee. This is an absolute barn burner between top level prospects here.
Oh yeah.
Let's be real. This is fight night. These are guys that are fighting for jobs.
Yeah.
Right.
And just like me, for real.
For real. Just like you.
Yeah.
I think what you guys find as the video goes on and as we do more of these that Big T's slams are a lot like Chael Sonnen's record. You know.
Undefeated.
Undefeated, undisputed. Never lost a fight unless it was a Dana fix, which he's been known to do. We've seen it.
Brundage versus Bo Nickel, I was clearly a fix.
Right. Next Cody Brundage fight, we'll break that down.
Yeah, sorry, we didn't mean to deviate from Quang Lee, but it's really hard not to.
So Quang Lee only has 2 fights in the UFC, both L's. He gets hit a lot. He's looking for one shot, and I don't really think he's shown that power really to be waiting around for that one shot. He gets hit a lot, and he gets kicked a lot. And he's fighting against Bolanos, who's a Muay Thai fighter. He's got over 50 plus Muay Thai fights. He throws a lot of kicks. He throws a lot of body kicks. And when he gets you to the ground, he's real active. A lot of times you'll see these guys that get to the ground, they're just comfortable laying on you, comfortable taking around by domination and just minutes earned. But he's active on there. So the way I see this fight is Bolanos is going to keep distance. He's going to connect with a lot of kicks. He's just going to outstrike him. If it goes to the ground, I think it's because Bolanos wants it to be there. Yeah. And on top, he's just way more ferocious than Quang Lee's going to be. Yeah. So I got Bolanos by unanimous decision. I don't think either of these guys are going to get knocked out by anything. Yeah. But that's on my team.
Well, Big T, break it down for you. So we're looking at Quang Lee. If I remember correctly, he fought Chris Gutierrez and Zhao Long so far. Chris Gutierrez, I call him the can killer because he beats anybody who's a can and gets knocked out by anyone who's not. So you saw last weekend, he beat John Castaneda by split decision. Quang Lee, when he fought him, it wasn't even close. It's just the leg kicks were coming out. And Quang tries, man. I'll tell you, he will walk through the leg kicks, but just doesn't have anything for him. And the Zhao Long fight, I told myself after that one, that Quang Lee will never be on my radar. So by default, I have to go Gaston Bolanos. But I will say I'm also not a Gaston Bolanos guy. I think he's probably a better just pure Muay Thai fighter than he is a UFC fighter. Looks like he doesn't really care to be there in my opinion, but he should be better than Quang Lee. So we're going Gaston Bolanos. You could see a finish here, but Quang's pretty tough, so I'm going decision.
Next up in the women's strawweight division, we got Gillian Robertson versus Mariana Rodriguez. Why don't you break it down, Big T?
Let me give you the breakdown. Gillian Robertson, I look at her, I see a rising star in the women's division, which those are very few and far between. I feel like, the UFC wants to push her up because she shows she has the skills to do what she needs to do to make the UFC some money. So I think she's got good takedowns. She's pretty well-rounded, in my opinion, and just getting better every time she fights. Where you look at Mariana Rodriguez and you say, she's been pretty solid her whole career. I can't hate on her. I'm not going to do her like I do the other people on the earlier fights here. But I will say that she is a little old and she's always struggled with takedowns. I could see her getting submitted here. It's still a chick fight, so I'm going decision. I hate doing that because I feel like it's a cop-out going decision every time. But it just happens to be a decision, machine is the women's MMA. But Gillian Robertson could very much so submit Mariana Rodriguez because she struggles in that department. So, very least, she controls her on the ground and wins by decision, and that's the BT slam.
We were off last card, but like I said in the last video, it's like a 66% clip that a woman's fight goes to the decision.
Yeah.
So when you're betting and someone gives you 66% chance odds to win, you gotta slam it.
What does it look like when you remove Kayla Harrison and Amanda Nunes from the equation?
You're probably looking at a lot more.
You could remove Ronda Rousey too, because she just gets knocked out. But
you're going up percentiles.
Yeah.
That being said, just like Big T said, when you're a striker who's not necessarily a great striker and you struggle with takedown defense, that's just a recipe to get taken down and dominated the entire fight. Every fight starts on the feet, but Gillian Robertson's not going to let that go on for very much longer. I'm taking Gillian Robertson just by takedowns, ground and pound, unanimous decision.
Beautiful.
Next up in the middleweight division, we got Ultimate Fighter Series winner Ryan Loder versus Azamat Bekoev. I'm saying right now, I'm looking at this fight. Ryan Loder, he's a former Division I All-American wrestler.
So true.
He likes to grapple, and he showed that in the Ultimate Fighter. He's going to take you down. That's what he's going to do.
So true.
Bekoev coming off a TKO win against Zach Reese. I think he just caught him there.
It's true.
But when I'm looking at this fight, I'm looking at value picks. Ryan Loder is plus 300 money line. And whenever you got a good grappler with those kind of odds, it's kind of hard to pass up. I mean, Ryan Loder definitely has the skill to take him down, round it out, steal minutes, steal rounds. The only problem I have, it depends how good Azamat's ground game is. Ryan Loder really overcommits with some takedowns and then allows himself to be rolled over. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that's true.
When you overcommit, they're able to sweep and then gain top control. Granted, he's a good wrestler; he gets out of it.
Sure.
But against a good MMA grappler, that might not fare too well. But I'm telling you, I think for the value pick, I'm gonna take Ryan Loder on this one.
Let Big T break this down for you. I'll tell you what, I've been waiting for Ryan Loder to get a UFC shot. He's been canceled a few times. He was going to fight our boy Brundage, actually, but he definitely wanted to avoid that.
Yeah, he would have caught a quick L there.
I'm telling you what, dude, I'm loading up on Loder here. I really do think that this guy's wrestling is going to be way too good. I think he's very high level. He's beaten some good guys. I mean, well, really one in particular comes to mind, which is he beat Robert Valentin. He submitted him during the Ultimate Fighter, which, in my opinion, is a great win. I think Robert Valentin's very good, and I think he's better than Azamat. So I saw Azamat fight Zachary Reese, and I picked Zachary Reese in that fight, and I think Zach was doing all right until he got to the ground and got hit in the back of the head. He got hit in the back of the head and got knocked out. I'm just saying, they didn't call it, so call it what it is. But in my opinion, I was not really all that impressed with Bekoev. I think that Loder, it's going to be a Russian versus American wrestling match. And I don't see American wrestling, when being practiced by a D1 wrestler, I don't see them losing to these Russian guys, especially not a low-level one. I like Ryan Loder. He's been on my radar for a while, so at plus 300, I mean, that's like, we're laughing to the bank.
Yeah, we're laughing to the bank on this one.
So I'm going Ryan Loder. I think that's my first underdog of the night, but I think I feel pretty good about that one.
It is, and we'll see what the other channels are doing with this Ryan Loder pick.
Canadians love Azamat, by the way, so that's why his line is minus 400. But just throwing that out there.
Women's bantamweight fight: the return of Miesha Tate versus Yana Santos. Take it away, Big T.
Let Big T break this down for you. So we look at Miesha Tate. She's a vet, dude. I mean, she's battle tested. She's got a ton of confidence, much to the dismay of the haters. They don't want Miesha Tate to win. Is she incredibly skilled in any way, shape, or form? No. But I would also argue that Yana Santos is just as bad, if not worse, and has way less experience. I'm going to go with the experienced fighter here. Miesha Tate is a proven winner, champion. People want to hate on her because she projects herself as a champion. I like it personally. So it's very rare for a women's fighter to do that. So I'm going Miesha Tate. It's going to be a terrible fight because neither person is skilled. Yana Santos beat Chelsea Chandler like everybody does. So I'm going Miesha Tate. Yana Santos has shown me nothing other than one fight where she struck well against Chelsea Chandler. So that's it. That's a slam.
Call it a love of the past or whatever you want to call it. I'm just going Miesha Tate just purely on name value.
Yeah.
She's look, we've already established she's battle tested. She's proven. She's got more fights, and she's also only 3 years older. This isn't a big age gap.
It's true.
Like the Robertson fight.
Yeah.
There's only 3 years and just a hell of a lot more experience on one side. I think Miesha Tate's just going to use her ground game.
Yeah.
She might sneak a sub, but I'm gonna go with Miesha Tate by decision.
Dude, the women's MMA is they just pump out decisions, dude. It's pretty awesome. I love watching it.
And you know what? If we're the guys who every time we come on here and say it's gonna be a decision and start
and then it's a finish, dude.
We'll do that for
I'll
you.
take it.
We'll do that for the viewers.
Yeah.
But eventually the numbers are gonna line up,
Yeah.
and we're gonna be correct on all these calls.
Well, and you're gonna see Dana calling in a lot of fixes on women's fights. Once he hears Big T come out and say that they're all decisions, they're gonna be all finishes. So you're welcome.
Yeah, you're welcome for that.
Yeah.
Next up in the men's lightweight division, we have another return of the Little Devil, Jeremy Stephens, the hardest hitting 155er in the division. Actually, I think he was 145er when he said that. Who the fuck is
Still
that
is.
guy?
Still is.
Yeah, who the fuck
Never
is
lost.
that? Never lost in lightweight.
Never lost.
So he's fighting Mason Jones. Mason Jones hasn't been in the UFC since 2022.
Yeah.
But he's been 4-0 in Cage Warrior since. Jeremy Stephens hasn't won a fight since 2018 in the UFC. Hasn't been in the UFC since 2021.
Yeah.
But he's 3-0 in bare knuckle fighting championships. So we got guys who haven't been in the UFC in a while, but they've been dominating where they're at. Look at this fight. You got two guys who are decent boxers, but they're good brawlers. And they just throw heavy hands.
Yeah.
I don't see either of these guys wanting to go to the ground unless they're on the verge of being knocked out. I want to take Jeremy Stephens here with the value. Right as it sits right now, he's plus 400, but he's 38 years old, where Mason Jones is 30. Statistics will tell you that when there's that big of an age discrepancy, the younger guy's going to win.
Yeah.
This fight looks a lot like young Jeremy Stephens versus old Jeremy Stephens. But I think for the value and for the nostalgia, I think I'll go Jeremy Stephens by knockout.
Yeah.
Both guys are chinny. Both guys hit hard. Let's roll with the Little Devil.
Yeah. So I'm going to say my breakdown of this is Dana gave us a fight that the rest of the YouTube predictors cannot pick right. They're just going to trail me. Just letting you know that. So when I look at this fight, it sounds like it could have happened in my middle school lunchroom. I mean, two guys with very nondescript names that do the exact same thing, and that's Brawl. Mason Jones has a minus 600 price tag because apparently he wrestles. But I'm just going to tell you right now, this is going to be a straight up brawl. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be totally unpredictable by anyone but me, and it's really a 50-50. Jeremy Stephens has been getting hit in the face without gloves on for the last couple of years here. So I'm going to have to go with Jeremy Stephens, dude. He's old dog. He's going to bring it back. He doesn't need to learn any new tricks. Mason Jones doesn't have any tricks. They're giving him a minus 600. He hasn't proved anything. So Jeremy Stephens is the guy. I think nostalgia's there. He's got experience. He's willing to get hit in the face without gloves on. So what happens when he gets hit with gloves on? You know what I mean? He's going to be all right. So Jeremy Stephens, man, that's it. That's the pick.
Next up in the men's bantamweight division, we got Sidey versus Cameron Smotherman. This fight right here has all the makings of fight of the night, I think. Sidey is a pressure fighter. He throws a lot. He does get hit, but he's got like that Nate Diaz quality that when he gets hit, he fights better. Yeah. It's almost like he needs to get hit to realize that he's in a fight. But when he's in the fight, he's down to brawl. But he is a little bit more technical than a traditional brawler. Cameron Smotherman, he he waits a lot. He's trying to find that one shot, and it gets him hit some. And if he doesn't connect with that one shot, it's over. He won a fight against Jake Hadley. Jake Hadley coming in off short notice, and watching that back, could have been a split decision. I don't know if Cameron really took that fight convincingly enough for it to be a UD.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, it was. But I just see Sidey outworking him, outstriking him. If he does get hit, he has the ability to recover. He does bleed a lot though. So if it comes down to the judges' scorecards, that may factor in with damage. Even though it doesn't take that many hits to get him to start bleeding, that may factor in. But I'm gonna take Sidey here. Fight of the night. I'm gonna go by UD. Let's see what happens.
Yeah. To piggyback off of that, I'm going to say Big T's breakdown is I'm going Sidey here. I think the guy is long. He's way bigger in terms of reach than Cameron Smotherman. And I think Smotherman really relies on counter punches, in which he's not really going to be able to do that against a guy like Sidey, who is long like that. I know Sidey likes to, kind of get up in there and brawl a little bit. But he's Ukrainian and he's got U.S. money behind him. I feel like there's no way that Cameron Smotherman is going to be able to. He has to knock him out, essentially, in my opinion. I think, and when Sidey gets hit, he kind of, like you said, he revives and he kind of just gets mad and starts like actually fighting. So you got to watch out for that. He might start slow, maybe might lose the first round, and he might get hit. But once he gets hit, he actually starts fighting, like I said. So I'm going Sidey. I think he can at least get 2 rounds in this one.
He gets hit, he gets mad, but he doesn't get like Cody Garbrandt mad, where he just complete reckless abandonment. Like he's still throwing clean combinations. He just throws them.
Dude, I'm about to get real technical right now.
He just throws them much harder.
He's like, dude, you know what, dude? I'm going to get really technical.
We're going to get technical.
Yeah.
Technically speaking, he's about to be technical.
Dude, I'm so mad. I'm about to get so technical right
That's
now.
what he's about to do.
Yeah.
And that's what he's going to do to Smotherman. Smotherman's going to connect with one shot that
and
lightweight hurts him, and he's just going to technically...
He's going to throw a left jab.
Yeah. Another overhand right.
And stay at range.
Yeah. So, Sidey, UD. This next fight in the men's bantamweight division is the Langer lock of the night, and it's Montell Jackson versus Daniel Marcos. And let me tell you, Montell Jackson by knockout. That's the slam. That's the lock. Montell Jackson has the cleanest and hardest 1-2 punch, I think, in the bantamweight division right now. And he's fighting against a guy, Daniel Marcos, who's a striker, and he's just not as good. I don't know what else to say but that. He's just not as good. This looks like a resume builder.
Straight up.
A highlight reel knockout for Montell Jackson. Because I think Marcos' only chance to win this fight is on. And if he tries to take him down, we've seen Montell Jackson be in trouble with submissions against a guy like Yaya, and he was completely comfortable down there.
Yeah.
Got out of it, got top control, and ground and pounded with it. But that being said, if Marcos keeps us on the feet, he's going to get knocked out. If he tries to take him down, I think he's going to be surprised at how good Jackson is on the ground. He hasn't lost since 2020. Since then, every fight he's looked better.
Yeah.
And I think he's going straight up to the top.
Yeah, I like that. I look at Daniel Marcos. I see a guy who's undefeated. I like that about him. He's got red hair. It's kind of, unique, I guess. But in his
Dan
last...
Hardy Glazer.
Yeah, I'm just cut that out. But anyway, we're not cutting it out. He is a good striker. Actually, probably his best part of his game is that he has semi-elite striking. But he has looked kind of suspect in his last few fights. It's almost like he doesn't want to be there once it gets a little tough. This fight's going to be tough. Potentially, he's fighting people that are beneath him, and he doesn't, he feels like he did enough to win, so he quits fighting. There's the potential for that. So the only way Daniel Marcos wins this fight is if he outstrikes Montell Jackson, potential knockout, that kind of way. Otherwise, Montell Jackson could equally knock him out. He is way better on the ground. He has good cardio. That Daniel Marcos has kind of at least shown that he has kind of suspect cardio in the late rounds. Montell Jackson could come out here and just absolutely obliterate Daniel Marcos. I think Marcos is good enough striking to stay kind of on the outside, but not do enough to win. So it's a decision for me, Montel Jackson. That's the pick.
Next up in the men's welterweight division, we got Santiago Ponzinibbio versus Daniel Rodriguez. Big T, why don't you give us your synopsis?
So when I look at this fight, man, it's close. But once I make the call, it's a 100% lock. I look at D-Rod, man, and low volume. He's got knockout power. He's got the heart of a lion. Yeah, but what does that do for you, Anthony Lionheart Smith? Nothing. I'm going to say, man, he's got to knock out Ponzinibbio, and I think Ponzinibbio is just generally more skilled. D-Rod can knock him out. He's a decent striker, but I think that Ponzinibbio is just a better striker. More volume. He has more methods of victory. And if you hear me enough on this channel, I'll tell you, I'm never betting the one-punch knockout. It happens, not enough for me to bet it. So I'm going Ponzinibbio. I think he just has more routes to victory. I could see D-Rod doing something here, but no, I'm not going with it. It's Ponzinibbio, and that's a lock.
I concur. I'm taking Ponzinibbio. He's just a more active fighter. Constant movement. Throws good combinations when entering. A lot of times you'll see these guys where they just throw one shot. One shot. He's throwing good combinations. He's mixing it up. And when you throw combinations, you extend the exchange. That's when you start landing. I think that's the key difference between these two fighters. Daniel Rodriguez is looking for one shot, whereas Ponzi's going to throw combinations. He's going to land more. He will grapple if he has to. And he's shown that he can be pretty good at it. I'm taking Ponzi by decision strictly because I don't think Rodriguez is going to get knocked out. But I'm going to go with the guy who has seemingly a more skill set, better skill set.
Way cooler name too.
Yeah, he does, and he's shown heart. He's got 2 wins in the last 4 fights.
Yeah.
Where I think he was losing on the scorecards and got knockouts in the 3rd round. That being said, those guys throw a lot higher volume than Rodriguez has shown to have thrown. Alex Marino, who Daniel Rodriguez also beat, as long as Ponzi did, but that
Alex Marino is kind of a moron.
Moron. Alex Moron.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going Ponzi here. UD. I think he's just going to outstrike him. Outlast him. Next up in the middleweight division, we got Bo, Dana White, Fix, Nickel versus Rainier the Ritter. What are we doing here? What are we doing?
What are we doing here?
We're trying to build a guy who the UFC and Dana and maybe some dude in Ohio.
It's just like the longest string of fixes that I've ever seen.
Maybe some random dude in Ohio thinks is marketable.
Because
I think it's that guy and Dana White.
Yeah.
But I mean, we got a guy.
They heard he wrestled at Penn State, so now they're like, dude, I like that guy.
Yeah, he's gonna be the man. I think we all actually thought that until we've seen Bo Nickel fight. I'm not saying that he's just a complete can, but I think we all thought this was our answer to Hamzat as Americans. And after having a strike fest with Paul Craig, I think we all got our answer to that.
Yeah.
These fights that he's having right now, these are supposed to be the highlight reel. These are supposed to be dominant finishes.
Wow.
And then you go out there and you have a strike fest and win a UD over Paul Craig.
All-time great bout.
All-time great.
With Paul Craig.
Yeah. That being said, this fight, Ritter can't strike. He can't strike. He's a grappler, looking for submissions against a Division I All-American national champion, one of the best wrestlers the United States has to offer. So I don't see it going to the ground, and I see Bo Nickel winning in stand-up. And he has knockout power, especially against someone who's kind of canny.
Yeah.
In terms of stand-up, so I'm going to take Bo Nickel by knockout, despite the fact that he beat one of the greatest fighters of all time, Val Woodburn.
Yeah.
By knockout. When you can knock out Val Woodburn, you can knock out anybody.
That's true. That's true. That means you got hands. So let Big T break this down for you, and it's really simple here. This is clearly another notch on the road here, another stepping stone for Bo Nickel that Dana has served up to him on a platter to say, listen up, haters. Bo Nickel beat a ranked fighter in Reiner de Ritter. He fed him Kevin Holland before this, who Kevin Holland just fights for Dana White. He doesn't fight in the UFC to win. He just does whatever Dana wants him to. And what Dana wanted him to do was set up Reiner de Ritter to look like a stud, and then Bo Nickel come in and beat him. When we look at it on paper here, Reiner de Ritter is literally just Bo Nickel-like. He does everything that Bo Nickel does well, but does it way worse than Bo Nickel. He's a decent wrestler against people who can't wrestle, but Bo Nickel on paper is the best American wrestler in the division. So he should absolutely annihilate Reiner de Ritter. But I'm telling you, it's a decision again, because they're just going to roll around on the ground and Bo's going to win a decision because Dana fixed it once again. Reiner de Ritter is a can. Let's be real here. Nobody gives a crap about him, and he should not be in the rankings. Kevin Holland just gave him a free win.
This is Bo Nickel's ticket punch to get into the top 15.
Let me rant about Bo Nickel for a second, because this guy, you hit it on the head, man. He's had all these fights that should have been just flat out highlight reel, and I loved Bo Nickel coming in, like when he knocked out Val Woodburn. I'm like, okay, Val Woodburn, but at the same time, he knocked him out in the first round. This guy's a wrestler. Like, oh, this could be serious. He comes in and against Cody Brundage is like a minus 1,200 favorite.
Yeah,
and then
1,200. I think he was minus 600 against Paul Craig.
Yeah, well, against Brundage, I mean, there were exchanges there where Brundage got the better of Bo Nickel, and it's like, dude, if you're Kamzat, you're literally breaking, well, not Brundage, but you would break Paul Craig's face in like half a second.
Yeah. Well,
as soon as you guys engage, the fight's over.
Yeah.
Where Bo Nickel literally engaged with Paul Craig in a striking match for 15 minutes, and it was if me and my brother boxed in the basement of our house, it would look like that fight. It would. I mean, you're throwing one punch. There's no combos. They're both throwing straight rights, straight lefts, overhand rights. Bo has an overhand right. Yeah, okay, Dana. Like, come on. It's Bo Nickel, because Reiner de Ritter is just Bo Nickel with no skills. But truly, Bo might not have any skills either. So
I know this sounds like we're the haters, but I think we've just been underwhelmed by Bo Nickel's performances.
Clearly.
So I'm going to take it by knockout. I think maybe this will be the fight that he gets a lot of confidence, knocks this guy out, and then maybe just comes alive and stops being undefeated on podcasts and starts fighting more than once every 2 years.
And I'll tell you what, the odds, they make me want to slam Bo Nickel, dude. I'm telling you. Like, this is the best I've ever seen in terms of Bo Nickel lines, and he is an automatic win. So if you don't put money, like literally you could put your whole house. Don't do it, but put your whole house.
Do it. Put your whole house.
Do it. Put your whole house on Bo Nickel.
Main event, UFC Fight Night, Des Moines, Iowa. Corey Sandhagen versus Davison Figueiredo. These are two guys, high-level guys in the Bantamweight division. This fight really does have title contender implications written all over it.
True.
Because these guys, they've lost, but they've only lost to top-level guys.
Yeah.
They actually have a pretty similar fight history, if you look at it. They both fought Rob Font. Both won against Rob Font. They both beat Marlon Chito Vera, but they both lost to Peter Yan.
So they beat two guys that suck, and they beat one that's really good.
Well,
and they lost to one that's really good.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's similar.
Yeah. Well, that's true. They're all in the division.
It's similar, and they've won the fights similarly, and they've lost the fight similarly. But with this fight, I think what people see is they look at Figgy and they see his height and reach.
Yeah.
Which his reach is actually pretty good for his height, but they see his height and they think, oh, there's no way they can beat some of these guys. But he has really good stand-up. He's really disciplined in his boxing, and he's really good at getting under punches and timing takedowns and getting them effectively. And I think that's what's winning him fights in the Bantamweight division. That's what won him fights before. Is he attempts the takedowns and he gets the takedowns, so he keeps people honest, and then he's able to really get in with a strike. With this fight, I think Sandhagen is a better wrestler. So with Corey Sandhagen being able to stuff those takedowns effectively, maybe even get a couple of his own, now when they're standing, I feel like it's uneven, because now Sandhagen is going to be able to use his reach, use his really awkward angles, and just pick Figgy apart the entire fight. I also wouldn't be surprised if Figgy goes in for a takedown and Sandhagen's able to time it and throw one of those big knees.
Yeah.
He loves throwing those knees up the middle. And if he times Figgy perfectly, that's a KO win. That being said, I feel like this fight is just so high level that Sandhagen will win, but he's going to win by decision and just outstrike him and dominate the fight.
Yeah, dude, great breakdown. Honestly,
Thanks.
on the biggest fight of the night, you brought it.
I really brought it.
So, let Big T give you his final breakdown of the night here. I look at these two fights between a guy named Corey and a guy named Figgy, and I'm telling you, that's why they're in Des Moines, Iowa. That's all I'm going to say. Two guys that are not going to fight for the title, but they're two really good fighters, I will say. You know, all jokes aside, they're two of the top 5 guys. They're some of Dana's top guys, I'll say. I look at Corey Sandhagen, and he's just lunch pail kind of guy. He comes in, he says, dude, I'm going to make my entire life about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, wrestling, striking. I'm just going to become a complete UFC fighter. And I would say he's the epitome of that. Doesn't have, in my opinion, the elite intangibles that you need in order to be a champion, but does everything right. Figgy, kind of along those same lines. He might be a little bit more physically gifted than Sandhagen at this weight, but in my opinion, he's not near as skilled. He doesn't respect the craft as much as Sandhagen does. Still does. I'm not saying he doesn't. That's why he's a top guy. But Sandhagen's another level. I think his wrestling will nullify any wrestling that Figgy has. And then when you do that, it's really hard to strike. So I see a similar outcome. It's either, Sandhagen's very high level on the ground. He could submit him. I mean, there really could be a submission here. But Figgy is really good, man. It's high level. It's a decision from Sandhagen for me. Like I said, though, there's probably a chance you could sprinkle in submission there. But that's where I'm looking.
Sandhagen's just so long.
Yeah.
And when he gets on the ground, he's able to find submissions that maybe some other guys can't find just because his length and flexibility.
Yep.
But yeah, so that's a sub is definitely possible. But I'm going to keep it safe and go decision. I feel like that's where it's going to go. Figgy's also high level, so he might not get in those spots where Sandhagen could submit him. But
yeah, you just wish that Sandhagen was an elite athlete and everything, because if he was, he'd probably be the best fighter in the division.
Yeah, he's just got that
Lunch
he's got
pail.
that Cowboy Cerrone, Dustin Poirier thing going, where it's like they get close to a title fight and they make them good fights. They just can never get over that hump, which is unfortunate because I really like Sandhagen. All right, new to the channel, we're gonna do a couple parlay locks, a couple things that we feel confident about. So the money line parlay lock I'm gonna give you: Sandhagen, Bo Nickel, Montel Jackson, and Sidey. Riv Sidey, Bo Nickel, Montel Jackson, Corey Sandhagen, all money line picks. The odds are kind of bad on them, like they're not like good value, but put them together, you're gonna get plus money odds. I feel comfortable slamming that.
Yeah. Let Big T give you the. We're calling it a flyer, but it's a lock of the week here. It's gonna be a big dog. We're doing a 3-legger method of victory parlay. Trail at your own risk. These are 100% locks. But Dana does call in fixes sometimes, especially around Bo Nickel. But we're going there, dude. We're gonna do it. We're doing Ivana Petrovic. I usually get away from chick fights when in betting, when I put money on them. But I'm telling you, Juliana Miller is not good. So we're doing Ivana Petrovic by unanimous decision. We're doing Corey Sandhagen by unanimous decision. Like I said, very high level fight. Sandhagen's just better. And then we're doing Bo Nickel by unanimous decision here. I feel really confident that Bo's winning this fight. There's only one of two things that happens, is that Bo is just better on the ground in terms of wrestling, and they just roll around for 15 minutes. Or Bo submits him. I'm not betting that, though. I'm betting the unanimous decision. The smart money goes decision. Over 30% of all fights go to decision. So in that, I'm telling you right now, Bo Nickel, unanimous decision. Lock. All
right, that's Fight Night Breakdown. Like we said earlier in the video, for us again. The link will be down below. You can follow our picks. You can create an account, make your own picks at www.ufcpickems.com. Set an account.
Yeah.
Trail us, see how you do. Like, share, and subscribe. Comment for the algorithm. You know, all that good stuff. Tell us how much you lost in the comments.
If there's any issues joining the site, comment below, and tech support will be on call all around the clock. So, we do this for you. Word to LeBron. Yeah, that was cringe. But, God, what were you even talking about, dude?
100% of the time, every time.
Yeah.
These picks slam.
Yeah. I mean, I say this with confidence because they are literally always right. I'll post the leaderboard later today, but I was literally the best player in history last week. So, trail those picks and make some money.
This has been Deepwater Picks.
Jake Langer with Big T.
Go drown in it.